For what? The library department for the original. So. That's loud, that's not. It also like that. The Legos. Paul, you can get. Thank you, Dr. Chin. These are the voices. Thank you. We'll start as soon as Bob Dibble or Treasurer rise. September 30th. Yes. All right, I'm now calling to order this meeting, the Huntingburg Board of Public Works. So, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Father God, thank you for all those that are gathered here today, for service to the city, and we ask now as we go into this Board of Public Works meeting that citizens we make here today may be for the benefits of all citizens, city of Huntingburg. With these things we ask you son's name. Ask for saying approval of minutes. Motion to approve. Motion made. Second. We got first and second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. A chance to review the claims. A motion to accept. That motion. I'll second. The first and the second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. First thing, we have Eric Yoakum here from the Huntingburg Fruit Fest with a special event application. Didn't have a copy of that here. I suppose you're asking for approval of the breakdown or?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we had worked everything out there except for there was an area that kind of looked at that.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last two blocks at the end. We're gonna start at Fifth and Jackson, go up to Walnut. We have to change the route a little because First Street and Fourth. And then from Walnut, we're gonna go to Second down to Washington, and that's where we're going this year. Considerably shorter in a way, but we couldn't figure out anything else. I have to just trust my committee. But the last two blocks there at the end of the route, it's supposed to be a quiet zone, which we'll have marked.
That really means no cannons, no drums, and no sirens.
Well, yeah, mostly no cannons and no sirens.
Yeah.
Is what they were saying, is what the people requested and asked.
Those are for some children that are with sensory issues that.
Yep.
At least a couple along that portion of the parade route.
Yep.
Past it. Any comments?
Questions, concerns, anything else too? I mean,
I know Tim Mullen has reviewed these. He's went on the looks at all routes.
You gotta talk to each of the participants that have something related to that.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Or
we've emailed all of them too already.
Any questions? We have a motion to approve. Parade route is stated here. See the picture on the last page here. Make a motion to approve. All right, Carrie, Wilson has motion. If it's your second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I appreciate you guys'
Thank you for
time.
your work down there too. We appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the city's help. Thanks, Eric. Thank you.
Don't think we have Kimberly Mickey here with the Christmas stroll. Okay, so we'll start with next thing. It's on here is the bid opening for public meeting proposed committee for the street park roof replacement. This is, we've already sent out the ads went out yesterday. Is that right? On or Tuesday? Tuesday for contractor. We've set, we want to be able to go ahead and set today as a bid opening September 30th, 2025 at 10 a.m. with the bid committee being superintendent of streets, Jason Stahl, Tom Dipple, and myself. You're all free to attend. That would be the official committee along with Universal Designs. The bid that went out is what we said at the previous Board of Public Works meeting, where we're allowing roofers to list other options for consideration of what spec. So I would need a motion to both accept the bid opening date and the committee for that September 30th. Got a motion by Dan. Got a second? Also. Dustin Schmidt's got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. From there, we're going to ask for the Board of Public Works approval of the bids on the first meeting during that time. Then the money would have to go to council because the ones that will have to appropriate funds for areas. We haven't asked for appropriation funds yet because we don't, so we get the bid amount, so we sure appropriate the property. So that's where we're at. It will be considerably cheaper based upon analysis that we've done so far. So the previous bid, substantially, let's just say. We got Street Superintendent Jason Stahl. First of all, we got Cole Vinky. I don't know if you ever want to speak, come forward to the podium, announce yourself, and speak with
pass these around here. A couple pictures of what I'm explaining. My name is Cole Hankey with CHRK Rental. Good morning, appreciate your time. Try not to take too much of it. So the 7th and Van Buren project is moving right along. A couple tweaks that we'd like to ask for that Brad Eckerly with Brosmer has, that we've committed to. One of them being the sidewalk replacement from the alleyway on the west side of our project all the way out to Van Buren. You can see in those pictures, the sidewalk down through there was about 1.25 inches thick. 3/4 of it was covered in sod. The sidewalk was being mowed for the past however long, been quite a while. So we're just asking, it's all been tore out and prepped with subgrade rock. Just asking that the street department would supply the labor and materials to re-pour the sidewalk that was, as you can see, below par. 1.25 inches thick sidewalk. It was cracking everywhere, probably mostly done by lawnmowers and things like that. That we have in the original agreement agreed to replace at your standard, 4 inches thick.
the original agreement we had with you. You were going to replace it. Is that correct?
Yes.
So my question is, where you come sitting down asking us to pay for it?
Just because of the, if we if we put it back the way we found it, we, be putting it back at we could sod part of the sidewalk and put it back at, an inch and a quarter thick, if we were just putting it back the way we found it. So that's why we're asking for some help on your end to, put back the public sidewalk.
How many feet are we looking at there width wise?
Fair.
Yeah.
They would not have had the option of putting it back the way it was. They would have been required to put the sidewalk back to what the sidewalk design standards are. Current.
What are those standards, Jason, right now? 4 inch, is it?
5 foot wide, basically, and 4 inches thick, other than where the driveways cross. And then we make them 4 inch bigger where the driveway crosses the sidewalk, so that's the portion that's gonna be driven.
Is there on-site parking in these?
Yeah, 2 spaces per unit.
Yeah,
It's off the alley rear, is that right?
They're on the front of each unit right off the street.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking
I'm thinking of the other one.
Yeah,
So there would be drive entrances.
correct. There's gonna be four of those.
So you're asking the city to replace from,
to replace from the alleyway on the west side of our project to Van Buren Street.
Looking at a couple hundred feet.
Yes.
My thoughts are, there's an agreement that you would put it back to specifications. Come to us now, it's really bad. Project started, I have an issue with.
I would agree with you 100% that it's their responsibility.
The second piece is grounds. We had to put in a storm drain from Van Buren all the way with 4 catch basins all the way up to our last lot. The curb from our last catch basin up to the alleyway, besides the driveway that we're installing, was not disturbed. So we're asking that we not have to replace, if Jason would have approved that it's in good shape, we have not destroyed the curb, if we can keep up to the alleyway that we did not tear out or disturb. Because our original agreement is that we're replacing all the way to the alleyway.
Yeah, I would suggest that we wait till the end of construction, do an inspection on curbs. If we accept the existing curbs into that they meet the standards, that we wouldn't have to replace them, that'd be my suggestion, but other than that, they would need to be replaced. I'm not sure of the condition of those. Have you looked at them, Jason? Because I was.
Basically from the alley that Cole's speaking about to the east. Basically to the first driveway, I think, pretty close, isn't it, Cole?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to do the radius. though.
That section of curb is it wasn't in bad shape. I mean, I obviously have seen it since they've done all the construction. But if it's still in good shape, obviously we've got to stop somewhere with the new curb. So if that's still in good shape, I'm okay with that in there. But basically everything from that driveway to the east then would have to be new curb.
You're talking about just down there on the curb, on the corner, kind of right?
No,
To the west.
to the west of the alley that runs.
Okay,
There's a driveway cut out for the alley that runs up through there.
right.
Okay, so from that alley to the east, about 15 to 20 foot, they didn't basically have to disturb much of it.
Okay.
But I don't know,
I see where you're at.
yeah, I don't know whether it, if anybody's drove over it, if it got tore up in construction. But leading into construction, it was in pretty good shape, and they didn't have to tear it out because their storm sewer stopped for that driveway.
I would concur with the mayor on having it inspected near finish.
Yeah, when you got, I know, Sharon's coming before the curve.
We're prepping today,
Okay.
so we can, we can. cut it.
I'll get out there today and take a look at it. If you can get it cleaned off. And, I can get a good visual of it, and I can make that determination then if it's. Okay to leave it in
And then,
there.
I was just out there with Kelly, that alleyway that Brad Eckerly looked back, could not find an easement on. There's quite a bit of runoff of pieces of asphalt and rock and things that are coming down off of that. He was talking about, needing to make sure that all that's not running out into your curb and gutter. So I don't know if this is the correct time, but that alleyway could be something that we could talk about, selling over to you guys or getting over to you guys, you can maintain it. Or since there's no easement on it, if all that asphalt is crumbling and coming down to the street and none of my tenants are using it, who's gonna be responsible for maintaining that? Just something we saw this morning, and it's been crumbling pretty bad, but we haven't used it for any construction.
That one, Phil, is a, I don't know how to approach that one because there is no easement there. It's actually on their property.
It's not a plat, it's something.
No.
It's about like 4 neighbors that
So,
use
so
it.
what used to happen years ago, everybody in the city, almost everybody had a burn barrel in their backyard. And the city would come and collect the ashes from those burn barrels. And so the city made alleyways behind people's houses where there's no easement, where there's no platted alley. And we've got those all over town, remnants of alleys that were used to service the rear homes. It's up to the board as to whether or not they want to continue maintaining it or just abandon it. We really have no.
We don't maintain it now, do we?
It has been asphalted, nobody really knows why.
Yeah,
We really don't have legal title to it.
right.
But just as a matter of practice in the past, it was used for the benefit of the property.
So if they wanted to just rip it out, they could just rip it out.
Yeah,
Put grass back.
It's the owners, up to the owners.
Yeah.
Now, they may want to contact neighbors who may have used that as access to their properties, and they may have developed what is known as a prescriptive easement. They've used it continuously and openly for 20 years as the means of access to their properties. Then they've acquired an easement over. So you may want to contact neighbors who might be using it.
And we're all for keeping it as one. It's just the maintenance of it would be a very hard pill to swallow if we were responsible for that.
They probably haven't done maintenance on that in years, really.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Because it was, Phil's point, I think, was originally set up, so it's private.
What it is the alley comes off of Jackson Street. And then it dead ends. At the end there. And then. Like Phil said, through the course of time, they brought it down to 7th Street. So the trash trucks or whoever had access in and out that, how it happened to turn around and go back out. I've spoke to the guy that lives to the west of their property, and he doesn't necessarily use it for his driveway. He comes in on the alley off of Jackson Street and then just kind of makes the turn into his driveway up there at the top. So I don't know if he would have an issue with doing away with it. But
I think it's been abandoned, frankly.
it very well could be.
Is there a curb cut? I guess there's a curb cut.
There is a, and if you want to do that, now's the time to do that before we repave that street. Now that wouldn't be on them guys. That would be on us to tear that driveway cut out and put regular tall back curb there. And then they could just seed and straw the alley basically.
You don't put curb there, you're gonna have continual problem with erosion washing the street.
Yeah, and people possibly wanting to drive up through there.
The curb and gutter is complete. If the water comes out in the street now, there's so much sediment coming out. That it's very crumbled up.
Yeah.
My suggestion is we add it and put the curb back in. It's also
That would be a city.
sidewalk at citizens.
Yeah.
I would like that letter coming from you guys and not me.
Well,
To the neighbors.
I think it's at least,
Put this off from the,
yeah,
time to look at it.
yeah, I think we need to have a one conversation, not gonna support it's tough. City applies it. You mentioned you talked to the guy at West, but I don't know if anybody's back.
I have, that was the only one that I've ever talked to was him.
So I think that we could do that contingent on just seeing if there's any objections.
But you're the record owner of that. Al.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to get them to sign off on it too. Unless you wanna have that done. No. Kidding.
A lot of others are real. I do enough of those.
So we thank you for the improvements you made on the street. See, looks like the sidewalk is dead subject. We'll work on the curve. Oh, yeah,
I appreciate your time.
thank you, go. County Road 400. You remember last meeting, we had a representative from OFS here regarding crosswalk on 4. A lot of concerns, based on itself as well as our police department. With the safety of that, we've kind of looked at transition each time of the proposals, so that's why Jason, what's what Jason's putting together today.
Yeah, basically, I don't know if you guys went out and looked at it, drove it, see what it entails. Brad and I've talked about, Chief Kramer and I've talked a little bit about it too. My recommendation to you guys would be to make the speed limit from Phoenix Drive to Highway 64 the same speed limit the whole way through there. Right now, the county section, which goes from 12th Street to the south for that 1,800 feet or whatever it is, their section is speed limit is 30, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? So my recommendation would be just to make it 30 from Phoenix all the way through the city's portion, the county's portion, and then back into the city's portion. It's kind of it goes city, county, city is the way that road goes right now. To me, it just makes sense to leave it the same speed limit. And I think Chief Kramer's in agreement with me that that would be the best and easiest, but it's up to you guys.
And nobody should be driving 40 to 45 mile an hour over those railroad tracks, that intersection either, so. If you're at 30, you stop at the south side going west at 12th Street. And continue west towards nobody really, I've driven it a lot over the last couple of weeks. Up there, I can't get up to 30 mile an hour before I get tracks. It's rough tracks, so you do slow down. And it's several feet before you get your speed back up again. Took crash there last 2 times and I never went over 30 mile an hour to see what it was like. And really, till you get north of 19th Street,
That's when
you don't have an opportunity to get above 30 really.
Yeah. And everybody knows when we put it at 30, people are gonna drive 35 probably anyways.
So that's my theory too. Do you think 30 is all right, or you think we'd be better off going down to 25?
No, I think it'd be fine. Honestly.
That's good, Jason. We'll get putting signs out there, speed limit signs, the flashing signs are working, track the speeds and see how well it's working. Of course, it'd have to go through ordinance with the council too. And we would want some specs. We have, Big Wagner, and he thinks because of the number of driveway openings, it really meets our standards for a 30 mile an hour street anyway, with the amount of traffic there. Out of people coming in and out of drives and trucks coming in and out of drives, to make that safer, even if we don't have people walking across, we have trucks that coming down, pulling out there, and they pull out of Barfest and OFS at the end of shift change. There's a lot of cars moving. It's a nice spot when it gets slower.
I mean, my recommendation would be to get the ordinance passed through the council And then once that's done, let's put up the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit signs, see how it works, basically. I don't think, when Mr. Mickey was here last week, I don't think they're in a big rush to get this crosswalk put in, because they're not obviously done with the building, but I think we wanna try this first to see how it's gonna work.
Did you talk with him? Have you talked with him after that meeting or?
With Corey?
Or, yeah.
No,
Well, somebody brought up about possibly a fence on the other side to funnel people to the crosswalks. We know how the crosswalk
Yeah, I know.
works on Progress,
I know.
and they're just all over the place.
yeah,
So I liked that idea of funneling people to that crosswalk. They have to use it. Something we need to talk with him about.
right, and that obviously would be something they would have to do,
Absolutely,
because it would be
absolutely.
their property.
You know, part of that is conversation, either landscaping or fence or something.
Right.
There's some type of barrier. Some of that could be just the fact that the way they grade for their parking lot, that they could put up a wall basically right there, because they're bringing that parking lot out.
I mean, I've looked at different mid-block crossings like that. There's different ways you can sign them, you can light them, you can put an elevated crosswalk in there.
I'm kind of in favor of elevated crosswalk.
If it gets to that point, obviously, if you drove across those before, you really have to slow down to go across them, otherwise you're gonna ramp them and bottom your cars out.
Right.
Do we want to do that right away? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you guys as to what you want to see. We could we could put the lines on there with thermoplastic like we do the other ones, see how it works. And if we're having issues, close calls or something, we can always go back in and put an elevated one in, if that's what it works.
They really won't need this probably till next year sometime, late next year, actually.
Yeah.
So we have time with lowering the speed limit, tracking what that actual speed limits are versus posted. And that'll help us make, I think, better decisions on the type of crosswalk.
And
they are paid for the crosswalk.
Right. And in my opinion, even before the crosswalk starts, we need to put up the signs that at least get the vehicular traffic used to the signs. Even if there's nobody crossing, at least people will start to see the signs there and know that it's going to be it is a crossing, but there's no people in it yet. But
yeah, where they originally were gonna put their parking lot for that new building, city had requested put a detention pond, some other water control methods there that really used up their parking lot. So,
you guys got any questions or concerns on it?
What happened to the last meeting, you had Corey recommended, suggested 35 from out to Phoenix Drive. What happened to that suggestion?
Basically, I went back and looked at what the counties was. The counties is 30. So Chief and I kind of talked about it, and we just felt like, as opposed to going to the county and having them change theirs to try to keep it uniform, it was just easier to make ours at 30 to match theirs.
I think that's as smart as that was my recommendation last meeting. Just make it all the same through there.
Yeah. I mean, there's no guarantee that we say we're gonna make ours 35, that the county would come in and say, okay, we'll up ours to 35. They may, I don't know, but I like consistency with the speed limit on the whole road, whether it's 30, 35.
If you change it too much, people get confused.
Yeah.
we didn't even know what it was last time.
Yeah, I didn't know what the county's portion was, and that's how we came up with 35 the last time, I think, was just because we felt that would be.
Lately, I've been driving the whole length at 30 miles an hour. Believe me, it doesn't. I don't know. Really don't. It may take you another 45 seconds to get through rail tracks to the other end, but if you're that far behind, you probably should have left off a little earlier anyway. So, is that something that's enforceable, Chief?
Yeah, once we get the signs and stuff up. I mean, a lot of that's probably gonna be education.
So what
First.
Get some motion asking for recommendation for the council to approve an ordinance to Make 400, city ports at 400 at 30 mile per hour. We have a small section that's doesn't even have posted speed limit now, coming off at 231, frankly, but that would be, I'll make that motion if somebody second it. Also, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries.
So then you'll have to take that to the council.
Tuesday night.
Okay. And then once the ordinance passes, then I can go ahead and change the signs that are out there. And they can start patrolling at that speed limit there.
Yeah, the ordinance has to be published at one time. Or actually enforced.
I'll make sure I got all that before I change them.
But you can sign it after the ordinance is passed. You
Okay.
just can't enforce it until the ordinance is published.
Okay, gotcha.
Next thing there on there is, I'm here to ask for permission to seek quotes to, have the loom yard ground up again. If you've been down there, it's, it's quite the mess. We pushed it up the other day. We're to the point where we can't push it anymore without getting a big piece of equipment in there to try to stack it higher. Plus it's been last year, we did it last year in May of last year, so it's been a little over a year since it's been done. I have the list of contractors that I sent it to last year. I had 6 of them. I sent it to, and I think I got 3 bids back last year. Brewer Farms last year was the low bidder, and their price was $22,400. Basically, what they'll do is all these guys will come in, they'll measure the pile up, a rough estimate, and then that gives them, what they bid for it.
That was our goal a year ago anyway, was to you reshape that yard and get this to go with an annual deal. And
Right, and I think
you've accomplished that.
it's working now, and for the best that it can. There's money in the budget. There's a line item for them yard cleanup. So basically, if you guys will agree to give me permission to send those letters to those 6 contractors, I can do that again, and then
I'll make that motion.
I'll have it so that I can come to the next meeting with the low bidder or the low quarter of it.
Carrie's made the motion. Has a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, moving on then. Fall cleanup's coming. It is October 9th from 1 to 7. That's a Thursday. October 10th, Friday from 1 to 7. October 11th from 11 to 8. I know the girls downstairs have been getting phone calls on the days and the hours and the prices and all that. So that's why I'm trying to be proactive and get it to this meeting instead of the October meeting. So I asked for permission to accept those days and those hours, as well as the prices. Paul, I think, and I are in agreement to leave the prices to where they were in the spring. So there wouldn't be no changes in prices for it.
Your sheet says 10th, 11th, and 12th. Did you mention 9th or something?
That's the April.
It's the April.
Oh,
That's the last.
I got.
Yeah, I sent you last
Okay.
year, or
I'm sorry.
I sent you the
I didn't
spring
see that top.
price sheet just so you could see what the
I
prices were.
didn't see that top.
Yeah. Yeah, the days are the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay.
I know we spent a lot of time in spring trying to see
That's mixed up.
what acceptable devices are. I think it's probably on the line that wheels. We decided we're probably still a little wide.
That was my question. Are we at least breaking even with doing that, you think, or?
No.
Yeah.
Right, Paul?
No, we're not ready.
No, especially on the tires. We don't get a lot of big tires, because you have to be a city resident, and most city residents don't have farm tractor tires and that type of thing, so we don't get a lot of those. But otherwise, we'll just, we'll leave the prices the way they are.
It's an opportunity to get things out of people's yards and, you know, my problem with it is I think say that the days, it's gonna try all the way in between, but.
Yeah.
I guess we'll always have that, at least we've given them 2 opportunities a year to get it out.
Okay, well, then we will proceed with advertising it and giving the price sheet out for the same prices.
Since. Consider we've already had the prices set, we don't have.
Right, yeah. My function, for the dates, through the months, the same kind of thing.
I'll make a motion for the dates and the prices that Jason stated.
Yeah, first, second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next thing is, I've been looking out on 14th Street. Obviously, everybody drives that road. They've seen areas where it's starting to alligator crack up. Right now, those alligator spots are staying put. My biggest fear is this winter with the freezing and the thawing, it's gonna pop them out. And now we're gonna have a lot of potholes. I've met with Seal Master, we've walked her, and basically if you look at it, you can see we've marked it a little bit of places that I would like to do some repair on. Just so you know that the product that we're looking at is, it's a mastic. Basically it's an asphalt with small stone in it. We've done it across town in a few spots on a demo about 5 years ago. If you go to those spots and look at them, it looks like the day they put it down. It's a very good product. But just so you know, this is not a permanent fix. It's a temporary thing so that we can get to the point where the mayor and I have been talking about making 14th Street federal project because of the cost that's going to be involved with that. That's not going to be a mill and repave. It's going to be a mill and patch, deep patch, because there's a lot of soil in there that's not any good. So we felt like the federal aid project would be the best to do on that. So this, like I said, I just want to make sure everybody's clear on it. It's just a patch to try to hold it over because federal projects are 3 to 4 years out. Okay, even once you start the plan process, that's how long it takes. So we've got to find something that's going to maintain the integrity of that road for as long as what we can.
We use our internal street budget, or we use crossings funds for that. That would be the only street we could do that here.
Yeah.
We could continue other street projects and dig that out. Normally, you don't want to do federal on smaller streets because depth and qualifications for federal highway standards are a little bit more, but this one has to be dug out anyway. It has to be dug.
It's gonna have to be dug out, or we're gonna have to stabilize the soil underneath when we do get all the asphalt off of it, so.
It's gonna be a big day.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty good undertaking.
Which part's the worst? Is it just from 231 to 5th?
Yeah, that's the only part that's bad, because from there on, it was built for semi trucks and stuff, the new part. The old part wasn't. You know, when we did it, we basically milled it off and paved it. And when we did that, you know, without spending a whole lot more for that project, that was what the engineer at that time said, let's just pave it, see how many years we can get out of it. And I don't remember what year the overpass was open, but it's held up pretty decent. I mean, it gets, if you get, and I'm sure all you guys do, but there's a lot of truck traffic on that road.
So hopefully here in a couple of meetings, we'll be asking you for approval to go ahead. Finish an application on the federal.
Right.
That's better sort of.
Veterans Park, yeah,
It's long.
not 14th Street. It's, yeah, but yeah, it's Veterans Parkway. Just to clarify that. But basically, I have money in my budget for preservation. Right now, I don't have any of it dedicated for anything for this year. So I can use that preservation money to do this, to preserve this road. Seal Masters quote to come in and do that, which is basically for the machine we use to do it and the material. They would have a guy or two here and we would supply the rest of the labor to do it. It's basically $11,779. It's not a, how do I say it? It's not a product that I can go out and get 3 different quotes for it because I haven't found anybody else that has that same type of product to try to get quotes from. So it's kind of a special thing that they have or they do. But that's basically what he gave me a quote of $11,779 to do that. And like I said, there's some areas out there that when he and I walked it, there's some areas that we don't feel like we need to put the mastic. We're just going to put another product that we have out there that will help seal some of them. The worst ones are the ones we want to try to put this mastic on there to keep the water from going down into those alligators and starting to pop the asphalt out and creating a bigger problem. So any questions on that? Where we're at on it, what we,
What we need a motion on that.
Yeah, it's over 10.
I was like, motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Got a first and second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, I'll get with him and we'll get started on here, as quick as I
Copy
can.
and quote to Tom too, so put it.
Yeah. Yeah. The rest of it was pretty well in my reports. Is there any questions on the report of anything? We did finish up the surface on Second Street. We did actually this week finished up the season and strong down there. We've got a little striping to do on it. Actually, my thermal that I ordered came in yesterday, so now we have that to be able to go down there and stripe those. Just so you guys are aware of what we do and how we do it. On newly paved streets, we put thermoplastic down for the center line and the stop bars. And the reason for that is they last a lot longer than paint. We don't have to go back every year and repaint them. So like I said, I just ordered some thermal. It came in yesterday. So we'll be down there and finishing the striping on Second Street. We've got 2 speed limit signs and a stop sign to put up down there, permanent one. And other than that, that project will be done. We are now working on Clay Street, doing basically the same thing, the dirt work, filling in up there. There was an alley that we had to cut back about 10-15 feet and pour a curb approach to it because of the elevations that changed a little bit. They're working on that. So we're gonna continue to work on Clay Street. I want to get that done because of the if you've been up there, you've seen after a rain, it washes a lot of the dirt out into the street because of the slope it's on and that. So we're trying to get that seeded and strawed here as quickly as we can. We're also going to work on Jackson and 3rd intersection. There's some backfilling to do there. Now that I found out that the parade route changed a little bit, that isn't as big a deal there because that was on the parade route. We were trying to get all that done, but we'll still get that done here in the next couple weeks. So Barnum Street is back to ready for surface. They will put the surface on Argem the same time they come in and do 7th Street. I think that's pretty well all. Walnut, it's done. It needs to have some striping done on it. Little dirt work to do there. But other than that, questions?
Question. 2nd in Jackson and 3rd in Jackson. The new corners that were poured in there. Why did we not blend in at 3rd in Jackson like it's blended in at 2nd in Jackson? It sure looks like a tripping hazard down there.
and Andrea and I talked about this, what we're gonna do is that piece that's in the middle, like a
Right.
pie shape, we're gonna go in and paint the edges of it yellow. Try to delineate it. I talked to the engineer on that, and two of the places was inlets in the middle
Right,
of that,
right.
so that's why you had to leave that up.
Well, it's like that on Second.
The other ones were, it has to do, and I talked with, like I said, with the engineer, it has to do with the grade from the sidewalk to the back of the curb, and to get it to work out right, that's the way they do them. Right, wrong, we don't, when we specify an ADA ramp, we just say an ADA ramp. We're worried about the sidewalk having the proper cross slope and downward slope. What they do in that middle, we don't necessarily specify exactly how it has to look.
Okay.
And those are the ones that they turned out like that. You can go to other ones that they did and they don't look like that. But this one was specifically because of the grade from, like I said, from the sidewalk to the curb. It's gonna be lower than what the curb was. And then the water would have ran the wrong way, basically. It would have ran from the curb back to the sidewalk instead of off of the curb.
Just so you know, we've got some calls on that already.
I know. Andrew and I talked about that. And I think once we get them painted yellow, that's gonna help a lot. Because they'll be easier to delineate that piece of pie, I call it,
Right.
compared to what the actual sidewalk part of it is.
Even if they had not brought that out in a pie shape, but more in a rounded shape, I think it would have been a lot better.
But part of it is, some people look at those
Onto the side, that's part of the issue.
where the sidewalk is in relation to the curb.
Right.
Has a lot to do with how that
Lays out.
intersection, if the sidewalk is next to the curb, then that whole thing is widened out and is all flat. But those sidewalks are like 4 feet away from the curb. So that makes that you can't widen it all the way out like that. Now you have to Andrew and I were talking about it yesterday. It's like a hog path or, paddle shoot to shoot them down where they're supposed to be, the sidewalk. So,
I think maybe moving forward, we specify that
yeah,
if we don't have to do it that way with the sharp edges, that we do it.
right.
It'd be better.
Yes,
We
do it.
can put that in the excuse me, in the plans and the specs that this is how we want it to look. Those are NDOT standards that are in there. That's what our plans right now call for, NDOT standards. So,
I think if we can be a little more specific.
and we can.
As we move forward.
Yeah, we don't have to follow the NDOT specs to a T. You can make adjustments to them. So we can do, and we will. I'll make sure that the engineers, when we do that, we get that changed in there.
I think Glenn has something too.
Second wall, that's the same way. There's third and Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the same contractor that did those. JPI from Evansville did all of Rudolph's concrete work.
He did suspect, but probably not what he should have done.
Correct. Anything else?
I think we monitor it, we have to adjust.
Yeah.
Something different there. I think actually yeah, we need to talk about that further, because I'm not happy with where they're at right now.
You talking about the corners?
Yeah.
I'm afraid somebody's gonna ride the bike through there and not see it.
Definitely need to paint that down.
And that's what we talked about yesterday. We'll paint them.
So we actually paint them and then we go from there. If it's still not good, then we can paint it.
You could, it's gonna be. Like I said, the reason behind it is because of the drainage of the way the sidewalk needs to drain, basically. But yeah, we can, if it comes to that, we can look at trying to do something different. But
Yeah.
think that's all I got. Wish you guys had closer to. Good.
The wastewater superintendent, Brad Cooper.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Brad.
Any questions on the report? Start with Division A. Moving quite along, they started this morning doing the middle SBR tank, the lower wall, so all lower wall complete on the SBR tank. Be 2 more pours on the tanks alone. Hopefully one next week and then following. And then they'll be working on sidewalks up above. They'll do that in 5 pours, and then they'll start working to the west for big 20-foot sidewalk above for all piping and stuff. It didn't start being beat too. You guys want to come down and check it out, let me know, and we can walk around and show you, but it's making shape. They also poured yesterday the 2nd floor of the chemical building. That's moving right along, so everything's going along there well. Division B, there's a change order. Accept a deduct of $278,152.93. That is for the asphalt and everything.
That was what was set aside for Cooper to be able to do the street reconstruction on First Street.
Yes, sir.
As well as they're still responsible for the base that from a roof rolling standpoint to be able to do that to meet the timeline. We probably won't need it if asking for at least an extension up to October 19th.
Yes, and that'll be an extension for Cooper and Triple X, so everybody in the same. Basically, on the same.
If it matches Triple X contract.
Correct, so it's their 60-day contract. That accepted, appreciate it.
So those 2 separate change orders of that, it's all one.
It's on one.
It's all, it's change order 2 that's got the deduct as well as the time extension for final completion for Cooper.
Copy of that, so get Tom a copy of it.
Get that and get signed.
So the change order is 278,
278, 152.93.
that change order number 2.
Number 2, yes.
And it also extends the completion date to October 19th.
Correct.
So the change order is extended to October 19th and is deducted 278, 152.93 to have a motion to accept.
Motion to accept that change order.
I'll second. Yeah, first and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Other than that, lab DMRQA 45, that's a study we have to do every year. That's been submitted and it's done. Other than that, it's doing maintenance. Moving on. Any questions?
I'm going to run that alternate bid.
Alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now we have Eric Berkeley,
I do, so.
We had, of course, we accepted bid last time for Tex construction of First Street. Better reconstruction meeting and some work is done there. But we also had an alternate bid, so I think you need to address the alternate bid and kind of give us an update on the project.
Yeah, they actually started on Tuesday this week. Got a schedule, I think it was Wednesday last week from them. And it identified, started work on Tuesday, and they're gonna hit it hard. I mean, they had everything fell in line properly. Come back to that. Basically within about a couple of weeks, they had everything wrapped up, which I think would be great because we've all been fighting this road for way too long. So basically their scope of work involved proof rolling after they excavated the top 10 inches of stone that was out there, and then if it passes proof roll, they can proceed immediately with the concrete work on that. So they worked Tuesday, Wednesday. Everything looked pretty good yesterday afternoon by all accounts. They were hitting it with a roller compactor, they had a plate compactor and a jumping jack out there. So after they dug down to the proper elevation, then they screeded in some more 53s as they needed to. I know there's some concern about that subgrade. It all looked good really yesterday by all accounts whenever they were running over it with equipment and whatnot. But then the rain set us back today. So we recommended not doing the pre-rolling because of concerns over the moisture content that's there now. I know we've got more rain coming in tomorrow. So as with construction, it's weather dependent on things. So we're just continuing to work with them and the Division B contractor to try to get that in as quick as possible. I know that will affect their schedule some as well because they were piggybacking that work on the next work. So we'll just keep you posted. It's something that we're all very active on as it proceeds, given the short duration that we're trying to get it done. So that leads into the potential change order. If you recall, the mandatory alternate we had on this job was to replace the north panel as well as outside of where the trench surface or the trench excavation was. We didn't project that we would have enough funds to do that entire mandatory alternate. But we do feel like as we're projecting forward, we think some of that work can be done to address the worst panels that are on that north end. So I think what we'd like to consider today is authorizing a change order to replace portions of the north panel as budget allows. I can tell you, looking forward, we're hoping to be able to essentially start at Argent and work to Washington, and then Washington towards Van Buren.
Basically, start at the northeast corner.
Basically, yeah. And that seems to be where the worst places are. But if we do that, then that of course affects their schedule. And so we're gonna have a meeting with them after the progress meeting today and talk through this, assuming this goes through, and get updates to the schedule for them to get things to get that added to the work. It'd be something that would, I presume, sequence wise, they'll want to do as they're doing the trench work as well. So basically, I guess what we're looking for is some consideration of a change order to add the north panel as the budget allows.
Now's the time to do it because they can use the 53s for excavating anyway.
Right.
To compact the panels.
Yeah.
Because they're digging them out 22 inches anyway.
Yeah, when they dig the panels out, they
Yeah.
have to dig that down, put more 53s in there.
Right
So,
there,
yeah.
they're digging up, so
Yeah.
it's a perfect time to do
To
it.
do it. Yeah. Everything's on site, the road closures are in, the detours are all in, for that whole section. That makes it ideal.
Yeah, it was our intent during the pre-construction meeting that we had triple text that we could come to resolution today, but they were starting from the east going west. That really fits in probably better with your schedule. You can tell us, but we want to give them some clear message to go through before they got too far along. We didn't want to backtrack. We didn't want to work in the same area twice. So really asking right now, we have the money to move forward with that second, to accepting the alternate bid, and that's what we're asking for today.
Was that the scope of that alternate bid from Argent to Van Buren?
Yeah, it was further than that, actually. It went
Cherry to Argent.
to Cherry. Yeah, got that eastern section from Cherry to Argent as well in the mandatory alternate.
I don't think they're posting that now.
No,
That's
okay.
from Cherry to Argent.
But if we approve the alternate bid, we're approving all that.
What I would suggest is we approve it contingent on availability of funds.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have to monitor as we perceive quantities change.
Okay.
So we're gonna actively monitor those quantities as we go, so we can project how much money we have or how many additional sections we can do. Because we know right now as they proceed, we can cover those next sections.
The bid is contingent on the quantities of the items that Jerry they utilize to do it. So
We're not accepting the entire alternate bid, but we're proposing a change order based on that bid to do the work from Argent to Van Buren.
Okay.
To the extent funds are there.
It is a unit price, the mandatory also, the unit price, mandatory alternate. So like Eric alluded to, we can monitor quantities up to that point and determine how much we can actually get done.
That's good.
So we need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
First, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
So we're accepting the change order
chamber of based on this one. Refine. Okay, here as well.
Is there gonna be a total number that you're accepting or no? I think that's a question, an important question for the board to be able to present, you know, not to exceed number, so we can be prepared.
Yeah.
We're at 260. What is the math?
Advance also available, what, 48, James, I think?
Yes, sir, 248, with
600, maybe, 248.
It's under two, yeah.
Yeah.
Under 29.
Yeah.
But that's the entire from Cherry to Jackson. And it doesn't matter, you know, we talked about schedule, doesn't matter, strictly because what we don't wanna do is come back with a brand new concrete and try to put the new down, tearing up what we just did. It's 016. But it will affect the overall image of the project as well.
Yeah. Do you have a projected, do we want to establish a not to exceed? Or
You just not to exceed, but you don't have to use the entire time.
You know, the ultimate bid is 248.
249,600.
249.6. So
Yeah, runs 5,000.
And that was from Cherry to Van Buren.
Yes, sir. Okay, all right. And to be honest, the majority of that change order. Of that Mansour alternate amount is from Argent to Van Buren because a large portion of Argent to Cherry Street, like that first like 100 foot or so there on the north side, is already being replaced as part of the base bid. So a large portion of that project or of that 249,600 is from Argent.
We need to come up with a dollar amount margin to. Well, and is there a change?
There's Tom, there's not a change order being presented like for execution at this time. It's more like, I guess, allowing us to proceed.
I think we need to approve it, continue the funds available, not to exceed mandatory alternate.
it's 249.6. We don't think that there will be any deducts on any other portion of this project, Division B, that will give us additional funds, but the only time we would ask for a change order, if there was just became down at the time that 249.6, we decided to do something additional. Agreement with the contractor to do something else. But our idea is this is a great, these are grant funds, spend those grant funds all the way down. That's expected from federal partners that they've done us to do so. Return any so whatever we can do to spend those down and take advantage of it now, because this may never happen again.
Yeah.
This is an SRF that I believe you were very fortunate to have.
So the motion is to advise the change order for the replacement of north panel, First Street from Argent to Van Buren. Based on the alternate bid not to exceed 249,600.
I'll go back and redo my motion for that then. So moved.
Keep that.
I thought 249 included all Cherry and all of it.
Yeah, but we don't know what the allowance was from Cherry to Argent. But this is not to exceed.
Okay, not.
No.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Put that all down.
Yeah. Didn't know you
Yeah,
could.
need a copy from you.
Easy for writing down.
Yeah.
It's construction, we're kind of actively moving as we go, trying to get it done as quickly as possible, so
Building the airplanes are flying.
a little bit of that going on. Yeah, thank you all.
Thanks, Eric.
Wastewater. Brad, you got any other items to?
Maybe not, unless you guys have any questions.
Good.
Thank you.
Police Chief Brad Kramer. Didn't think you were ever gonna get to you, did you?
I know. Good morning.
Good morning.
Any questions on the report? Next week, we're sending both of our detectives to Internet Crimes Against Children. It's a 3-day training up in Ellisville. The only thing we have to pay for is their stay, and then obviously their food as well. It is a multi-agency task force that investigates, prosecutes anyone who sexually exploits and entices children on the internet. Right now, they've already done their onboarding for it. It basically, they can log into this portal through the state, and they will get tips that come in from any kind of social media, Google, websites, whatever. It'll tell you the source of where it's coming from, who the suspects are, stuff like that. But with us doing this, with us joining this, it can also lead into grant funding opportunities for supplies for them. This year, we added to our evidence room a 40 terabyte storage system. Because what we're finding is a lot of these devices that we're seizing from people that have this material have a lot of data. The largest one that we've gotten so far was 3 terabytes. Yeah. So we've already used, and it's a 40 terabyte system, but it's 20 terabyte, and it constantly mirrors. That way we don't ever lose it. So it just stays in our evidence at that point. And we're, unfortunately, we're utilizing that system, for that. But that's something that we can get possibly through them to replace. Once that 40 terabyte is full, we can ask them for funding because that's about $1,500, just that system. So we can ask for funding to replace that whenever it's full, by joining this group. So, any questions on that? Nope. Other than that, we're just gearing up for Heaven Purpose Fest later this month, so.
You said up to 10?
Yeah, we'll have a tent table, officers. We'll have a little bit of a different schedule this year on Saturday. Down there, I think we're gonna cover from noon until when the beer garden opens, but other than that, that's really the only thing from our point. Any questions? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Brad. It's Chief. All right, Fire Chief Don Hine.
What? That's how you do it full time, too. Remind me.
Next month is your inspection next month.
Yes, yep, so.
It'll be running out of postage fast pretty soon.
Well, I do it in sections, so I did all the, work my way to the bigger hose.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest one, because it's heavy. So yeah, no, we're almost done. We got 3 more days.
Did the heaviest ones last.
Yeah, the ones that nobody. I get some assistance on that. Otherwise, I've been doing it all myself. So, but the light is at the end of the tunnel, and we'll. Any questions on the report? And we're just getting ready for Herbst Fest and. The golf scramble coming up, fire prevention week is coming up. Citizens Academy starts Tuesday.
Thank you, Chief. One very photo.
That's
To get my reports. Jago Homes, that's the last lot. Out of process. They got tired of me sending him letters about grass. So
Some of it doubled in cost since they started.
that.
455.
Yeah, that's the most expensive permit that's been issued in Orange Crossing. Code enforcement, not what you expect. The rain today, you'll see grass sunshine jump up a little bit more. 422 North Jackson Street, which is the two-story house on the alley that I've sent pictures to you previously, where we had contacted the owner and listed a very specific punch list of items that needed to be corrected in order to meet with our building requirements from building codes. Unsuccessful being able to achieve any of that, and I think Phil's got some information that.
Right, so on, is it, August 17, August 18, Code Enforcement Department issued an order to demolish building and structure at 422 North Jackson Street. The owner is Mr. Larry P. Graves. Indiana law requires that the Board of Public Works and Safety hold a hearing on that order in order to either affirm it or modify it or reject it. So today is the date and time that was scheduled for a hearing for the board on this particular order. Is Mr. Graves or his representative here? If not, we'd open the hearing, and Tom, if you would swear in, the only witness we have is Mr. Mike.
Raise your right hand and I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Just for the record, state your name
Paul Allen Lake,
and what is your position for the city of Huntingburg?
planning director for the division of planning.
You're also responsible for code enforcement in the city of Huntingburg.
Yes, I am.
As part of that, do you enforce the ordinances regarding the maintenance and maintenance of buildings and structures within the city of Huntingburg?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an opportunity to inspect or to view property at 422 North Jackson Street in Huntingburg?
Yes, on a number of occasions.
And as a result of those inspections, did you find violations of the Huntingburg maintenance codes?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Huntingburg City Exhibit number 1. Can you identify that?
Yes, this is the order to demolish a building or a structure under the unsafe building ordinance. Was recorded with the Du Bois County Recorder's Office in August on the 18th. A copy of this was sent both certified mail and first class mail to Mr. Graves at 1415 Dewey Street in Jasper, Indiana.
I would ask that this city exhibit number 1 be admitted as part of the record in this hearing. So the order to demolish that is city exhibit number 1 was issued by you, pursuant to your authority as code enforcement officer, is that correct?
Correct.
And does it delineate the various violations of city codes that result in this property being determined to be an unsafe property?
Yes.
Is that on page 2 of the order?
Yes, it is.
And can you briefly describe those 7 items that you have found in violation?
Yes, foundation, roof, exterior walls, doors and windows are not airtight. There's a fairly significant hole through the roof of the structure on the south facing roof slope. Rear door has a stoop, mudroom, laundry, utility or room on the back west edge of the house. That door is missing. There's a piece of plywood across part of the door. The roof on that utility or whatever is collapsed and falling into the structure. Windows are cracked or missing in a number of places around the home. It's not airtight, watertight, or people tight. I believe police department has responded on people being in the property, and I've seen pictures of the inside as well.
Have you worked with the owner of this property in the past trying to resolve these issues?
On a couple of occasions, I've reached out to the owner. Prior to this, the most recent one was, I believe, last summer, and essentially provided a punch list similar to this and said, what I would like from you is a timeline on when you can bring this into compliance with the city's building code. I did not receive any response from him then. I did not receive any response from him on this. or on other maintenance grass, anything.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as city exhibit 2 and comprising of 5 pages. Can you identify that?
Yes, these are the photographs that I provided and attached to the very specific list that I sent to Mr. Graves. The hole in the roof on the south facing wall, the rear door and the stoop that the roof is collapsed on. A north facing door that's missing glass and it's not airtight, as well as gutters that are filled and growing trees. They were all provided as along with the original notice of violation with Mr. Graves back in July.
These are all demonstrative of the violation you cited in the order to demolish.
That is correct.
City would introduce the number 2 and ask that and put it in the record. And I'll just pass this around. Board members. In your opinion, does the structure at 422 North Jackson Street warrant demolition?
I believe so.
And is that what your order that was issued on August 18 requires, the demolition of this property within 60 days?
It's been 60 days, substantial completion or progress made on the demolition within 30 days.
Are you asking the board today to affirm this order to demolish in 60 days that there's action today?
I am.
That's all the evidence I have. Witnesses available for any questions the board may have.
Also demolition, how's the city,
Statute requires that it be bid. That it be bid out. No, I mean, to say if the homeowner does not, the property owner does not do it within 60 days, then this board has to authorize bids. Demolish the property. Bid is awarded to the lowest bidder. Property demolished, the cost of demolition becomes a lien against the property. And it's assessed as a special assessment to be collected the same as property tax. The whole process could take 4 or 5 months.
With all your correspondence with him, he's never got back to you or talked to you about anything.
No. This property is on the tax sale list for September. Once we recorded the unsafe building notice, I did receive a call from the county auditor's office, who was very interested to find out if we could estimate what that cost would be and what the timeline is and when the hearing was. So apparently they're going to flag the property that there is an active order on it. Our last demolition with everything that the city spent on it was at 410 North Washington Street. It was about between $12,000 and $13,000 in total for that. This one will be over that. Should come to the city having to do the work itself. Or contract for it.
this will be a more difficult, first of all, as burden already.
Yes.
And it's also its proximity to the other homes is going to be a difficult problem. Demolition.
Yeah, it's essentially a zero lot line. It's a shotgun lot. There's probably not 5 feet separating it from the structure to the south.
Might also point out, is there anyone here on behalf of Mr. Graves to speak? I do need to point out on the record that Mr. Graves was served by certified mail, return receipt requested. That mailing was done on August 19th. The city has not received back the return receipt. However, we also served him with first class mail the same day, and there's been no return of that. So that would indicate that he did in fact receive notice of this order and this hearing today. Statute that deals with unsafe property provides that service may be made by certified mail or by first class mail to the address of the property owner that's reflected on the auditor's records. Now, I might ask Mr. Blake whether or not Mr. Graves' address on the auditor's record is 415 Dewey Street, Jasper, Indiana.
That is correct.
You use that address from the auditor's records.
Yes, I did. I would also note that any other notices of violation that have been sent in the past for grass, junk trash and debris in the yard were sent to the same address. I've never received one returned.
I might testify in fact on 2 occasions, Mr. Gray has come to my office and paid fines that were issued to that address. That's, I have nothing further. Other than to ask the board to affirm the order to demolish the building 422 North Jackson Street. Allow probably 60 days to accomplish that substantial, beginning must be made within 30 days.
Asking for a motion for firm the order to demolish of the property at Jackson Street. Motion made. Got a first and second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Just realize this could be a lengthy timeline, going through the process right now, so it's predicated on what happens during tax sale too. But new owner will take over responsibility of these expenses if it was to go to sales.
Any other questions? Thank you.
I think it's not the because it's all, I do want to say, we have discussed, probably should talk about the station or the racks. Also, kind of what we heard back from the owners of that property.
Yes, we have sent a certified letter to the property owner requesting permission to do an meet with them, do an inspection of the structures, just to truly see what condition they were in. Subsequent to that, once they had received it and read it, I received a phone call, and I know Phil has spoken to the property owner's representative as well. It was our understanding that they have entered into a contract with a contractor out of Evansville to do a demolition of the structure. There are a few barrels or drums inside one of the buildings that they will have to take care of and remediate those and remove them from the property. It appeared that based on their timeline, probably early to mid-July or mid-October would be the timeline for the demolition to be completed. And we'll keep an eye on it just to make sure that things keep moving.
Emily, that everything there in the corner, both buildings, or is it just one?
Yes, there's actually 3 parcels, I believe it is. There's two structures, 3. One of them obviously is the most visible one right there on the street. But all 3 of them will come down. The property will be raised.
They are employing services of an environmental company to oversee demolitions.
Correct.
What's the address?
Big pardon?
What's the address?
Is it 806?
It's north of the burial tracks on Main Street, 806.
I think it's 806 North.
It was the Dairyland property.
800 block of north of Main Street.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
We get a lot of questions about this. It's here. Safety director.
Keep showing. Good morning. You want to have any questions on the report? And that word farm case, that is the same one. We don't have a new one open. We should be wrapping that up here soon. We were finishing up with physical therapy. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
City Attorney Phil Schneider. Nothing further. Clerk Treasurer Tom Dipple. Nothing. Any other items? Citizen items.
Yes, want to clarify something real quick, Neil Mod. Good morning, board. So last month we talked about BS Engineering with 4th Street. My question was, after looking at the contract, I see it's $31,000 that we've awarded them to do 4th Street engineering. And I know there's gonna be additional cost to alternate bids. What, if this was a lump sum, not to exceed, so what is that additional cost gonna be?
We've not, well, we're on an hourly rate, so we're not right now looking to, we do want to, what alternatives we wanted. One of those is, one of the original ideas was re-engineer parking spaces. I think talking to the merchants and other board members here, there wasn't any desire to rework those parking spaces, other than the fact that we would change the color of the bricks and lines and make those more predicated. Really, right now, our next decision is looking at what we'll need to come up with. The only other alternate is coming up surface options. Those would be based upon an hourly rate. It's already been engineered, so it's not going to be that much more, but that negotiated. Original contract for that was in 2020, I believe. This was just an extension that was given on that original contract, but we had way back when. Expensive, yeah.
So we can have a new contract, because the contract right now that I have for BS is $31,000 lump sum, not a unit hourly price.
That's based upon their estimated hourly. That's what they'll bill. They can bill up to.
Correct. Where are they at right now, do you know?
They're right at the 31, right at 31. I have to go back and look. I looked at it yesterday.
My question would be.
They're really there. So
Are
yeah,
they gonna, there'll be additional contract signed of not to exceed a certain amount? Or is it gonna be open hourly after this contract?
we've asked them to send us a proposal, yes.
No, just want to clarify that. And last question I have, Jason, for you, with Seal Master, you said there's multiple spots in the city. Looks like they had just put down. Can you identify those locations? So we can look at those.
One of them is on Jackson Street between Fifth and Sixth. One of them is on,
We're at between 5th and 6th.
I don't know the exact address.
Okay, can you get that to me?
Sure.
Yeah, what else you have?
Let's see, what was that? Geiger between Third and Fourth. No, not Geiger, Walnut between Third and Fourth. To find the other one. I don't remember off the top of my head where it was.
You think it's just 3 total locations?
It's 3 or 4.
Can I get those exact locations when you get the opportunity, please?
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I got. Thank you.
I think thanks. Our marathon meeting this morning, so do we have a motion to adjourn? Everybody wants to make that one. Yeah, first and second, good job. All those in favor?